This is AKASHVANI, Bengaluru. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Yuvavani.
Hello everyone, this is Samah Asiya. I am a public speaking instructor and a curriculum designer for Open House.
Hi, my name is Divyakshee. I'm a prompt engineer. I currently work with NVIDIA in the field of artificial intelligence.
And today we will be conversing on the topic overcoming challenges in the education system through artificial intelligence. So Divyakshee, since you are a prompt engineer for artificial intelligence, how would you like to describe it?
In the simplest way that I can explain it, artificial intelligence, or AI as we use for simplicity, is like taking a computer and programming it to give it a brain, to give it a mind of its own, to have the ability to think and learn on its own, almost as if the machine itself was a human being. For an AI to function like a human being, we program it to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence and human consciousness, such as being able to recognize a pattern, to make a complex decision, or to solve a problem that would otherwise require human input.
So this is supposedly assisting human beings in human problems, in which case, how do you think it has solved shortcomings in general?
The biggest contribution that we see of artificial intelligence is its ability to automate a task. It speeds up various processes that we would otherwise do in the human world and boosts our efficiency and enables us to make faster decisions, more accurate decisions. This is mostly used in the business world to give a business a competitive edge over its fellow businesses, helps them adapt quickly to changes, and helps adapt to revolutionizing the market landscape. This automation of repetitive tasks that would generally take a lot of unnecessary human time and labor frees up human beings to focus on things that require more creativity, more brain power, things that AI isn't yet equipped to quite deal with. This helps save a lot of time, meaning that innovation is given a forefront in business development. AI also facilitates a very personalized user experience. It tailors products and services to individual preferences. AI helps conduct very strenuous market research, which means that businesses can provide exactly what the consumer is looking for. This also leads to stronger relationships between brands and its consumers. Lastly, one of the biggest uses of AI that we see is to analyze huge data that is impossible to be done just by human beings, and analyze that data, pick up trends in it, pick up patterns in it, and use that information to make really accurate and informed decisions. This helps reduce risks that businesses are taking, helps seize opportunities faster, helps identify trends that are coming a lot faster. Samah, as an educator, since today we're talking about the field of education, why don't you tell me about challenges that you think you have faced in the education system where we could use AI technology to overcome them?
There are a couple of problems I could address, starting with maybe a personalized learning experience, because everyone's learning capacity is different and each of us individually find our unique way to learn something. In which case, if it is one teacher with probably 100 students in a classroom space, it becomes difficult to be able to implement one curriculum in 100 different approaches. So if you were a student today and you were trying to personalize a syllabus for yourself to be able to learn by yourself, you have AI tools that could help you. Other than that, maybe grading and feedback processes could also be improved because, again, when it is made by human beings, we can address the fact that there could be biases. But when you set up a system that does not recognize a bias and has its own parameters and marks you based on your abilities, only through the data it's collected, it could improvise how students get their grades and how students could have their work analyzed. Lastly, I would also want to talk about language barriers as another issue, because even if these language barriers most certainly don't have to be about studying in different languages, it also speaks about the level of language you are using, because Maybe what is being taught to a 10th grader right now is not of the language that person is understanding, and maybe to ease that down you might copy paste it on an AI tool like ChatGPT, so it breaks it down for you. So with your experience as a student, how did you use these tools, and what are some other examples you could give?
I have come across several tools that I have found that have made my learning process easier before I even started working in the field. One of the most popular tools that we see, which we might not even know utilizes artificial intelligence, is actually Khan Academy. And how it does this is by taking a student's past reports, past education history, and provide a very customized lesson plan, customized tests, customized workshops to really help build on a student's personal strengths and weaknesses. And this is really the point of education that I feel like until now through traditional learning methods we have missed out on, because the generalized view that we've been giving all students has clearly not worked for a majority of us. So using artificial intelligence to really tailor to what a student might need to work on, might not need to work on, not only helps reduce the teacher's workload, but also builds the confidence of a student in a variety of different subjects, because you might need more time in math, I might need more time in history. But in a classroom setting, it is impossible to have one teacher cater to these varied needs. So to have artificial intelligence come in and provide this to us has been a very revolutionary tool, not just to help the physical workload of both teachers and students, but also mentally to provide peace to both of them, knowing that their needs are being catered to. Another really popular tool that has been around for a very long time has been Duolingo, helping overcome global language barriers and not only teaching different languages to people that wish to learn them, but also helping in the translation and bridging a gap, because the world now is a global village, as we call it. And to be able to know that me sitting in my country, in my part of the world, can converse with somebody that might have subject knowledge in some other part of the world and be able to converse with them and help that knowledge grow has been a great learning tool as well. When it comes specifically to the classroom setting, it is impossible for a teacher as a human being not to have certain obvious human biases when it comes to grading or correction or marking a student. However, you see that often leads to big mental pressures on students regarding how they would perform, regarding how their grades would turn out based on factors that shouldn't be considered in this system. This is how we bring in artificial intelligence-driven grading systems, such as GradeScope for one, which not just expedite the process of assessment and grading, it also removes the human bias from these processes, meaning that it not just helps the teacher relieve her physical workload, but it also means that students have less mental pressure, knowing that certain biases that might have been held against them in the classroom aren't going to penetrate their grading process, their marks, which I think in lived experiences of many students has been a great source of stress. To make the process of learning a little more fun, a little more interactive, you have tools like Quizlet, which create really personalized study material, not just theory, but also flashcards, quizzes, multimedia sources that make the process of learning a little more interactive and a little more two-way than it just being a student having to absorb mass of information. It makes the process such that the student feels a connect with what they are learning, which is another thing that we have seen have a huge disparity in the traditional learning systems. Lastly, something like Smart Learning Suite, which offers lesson delivery tools, which makes the process of teaching a lot less physically laborious for the teacher. This makes the process of both teaching and learning easier, because not just is the teacher freer to focus on having a connect with her students through her information, but also the students are able to absorb it in a way that is easier to learn because it has been tailored and catered through pre-made artificial intelligence systems. And this engagement and the comprehension from this would just not be possible through a traditional learning system. Having AI assist me as a student, I have seen to be very beneficial, but As a teacher, Samah, do you see that it has assisted in improving the classroom experience or perhaps in reducing your workload?
Definitely, because students these days are expecting for different approaches, which times are necessities or requirements of understanding concepts or being able to learn them has changed. The way we do exams or the way we even grade ourselves in school have changed, which means the curriculums that currently are being used need to first be accessible to all students and secondly be delivered in a manner where there are fun activities and exercises that not only focus on imparting knowledge but also focus on improving your motor or cognitive abilities. Because what is the point of learning if it has not helped you upskill with your abilities? Now, this is being made possible in classroom spaces because of new artificial intelligence tools, where students have now the opportunity to request for better curriculums, request for better ways of learning. Teachers have the opportunity to find these resources online, apart from which teacher workload is drastically reduced when the database of students are recorded and the day-to-day classroom experiences are made note of, so you can look back at it and see how you can improve upon. So now I'd like to ask you, how could these AI tools or the integration of AI in education system pose some ethical concerns?
Now, that's a great question because we hear so much about the benefits of it, but we also, while integrating it into education, have to recognize that there are certain drawbacks or certain concerns. The biggest concern, I would say, is data privacy, definitely. Collection, storage, and the usage of such sensitive student data does raise several concerns about consent, about transparency, about security in education systems that are AI driven. Now, another big social concern that I think we need to watch out for is the divide or the disparity that could be brought about through digital systems. The unequal access to technology and high speed internet is still a major concern in today's world. Students may not have equal access to such high tech, and this might increase the disparity between students that have the financial means to access them and those that don't. And this might leave marginalized groups at greater disadvantage of accessing education. Accountability and transparency is also a very big concern. There is a very large lack of accountability when it comes to transparency in AI algorithms, as it raises questions about who is really accountable for mistakes that are made by a machine, which are especially not driven by any human beings. When we are dealing with such sensitive information, I think these questions are really pertinent. Job displacement would be a huge social concern that comes out of this. Teachers, we already see them losing jobs, losing out on employment because of a lot of tasks being automated. In the future, we see this gap only increasing. Lastly, I think commercialization could be a big issue, because when we bring in private companies that are often driven through a profit motive, turning education into a private sector that might complicate the social benefits of trying to educate the masses, especially those that can't afford.
We can say that there is a shortcoming to AI itself when integrated with education, but what if AI was rather used as a tool for assistance in learning? Because I can see that students these days that I educate myself are using AI to a point where they're not just broadening their scope of understanding new concepts or taking in new knowledge, but they're also upskilling every single day. So it can practically cater to all your needs if you use it as a good tool for assistance, is what I believe. So this is Samah Asiya. I am from Open House, and
this is Divyakshee working for NVIDIA.
And today we were conversing on the topic overcoming challenges in the education system through artificial intelligence.
This program was brought to you by AKASHVANI, Bengaluru.